Hello everyone, I'm the first presenter for my Group 21 on the case study of the case PPBA Labangan Agampang. My name is Norazin binti Arbi and I'll be giving a chronology of the case. Around 16 September 2019 at 7 p.m., the victim, who is called PW2, PW3 and others were having dinner outside the living quarters in Baram. The accused, Labang Anak Empang, was barbecuing chicken wings. At one point, Labangan Akempang had thrown a chicken wing at the victim, who had also subsequently then thrown it back at the accused. A few minutes later, Labangan Akempang, the accused, went to his lorry and came back with a parang, who had then proceeded to go straight towards and stabbed him on his back. The victim, was then rushed to the hospital but was pronounced dead. A police report was lodged and Inspector PW15 then proceeded to head to the crime scene. On their way to the crime scene, they had found the accused asleep in a lorry and then proceeded to arrest the accused. On 17 September 2019, PW15, the accused, and a few other prosecutor witnesses, all of sergeant and corporal ranks, went back to the crime scene. PW15 then gathered and took evidence which included DNA samples at the crime scene, photos of the crime scene, and a sketch plan of the crime scene was taken and drawn respectively. PW15, the police team, the accused, and the seized items then went to IPD Marudi after a seizure report was lodged at Long Lama Station. A seizure report was made at IPD Marudi as they had also seized the accused clothing. On 20th September 2019, a parang covered in blood was discovered and it was also seized. All specimens were then packed and marked before given to the chemistry department. On 20th September of 2019, a postmortem was finally done on the victim. And on the 4th October of 2019, blood specimen of the victim, the accused, and seized items and DNA samples was sent to the chemistry department in Kuching. On the 22nd October of 2019, the same thing occurred.
The police had seized several pieces of items that could potentially help solve the case. First, a 46 cm parang, also known as pisau orang ulu or pisau kayan, covered in blood, found in between the crevices of a wood. Next, the clothes worn by the accused on the day of the crime, which including a white polo t-shirt, a pair of blue-yellow slippers, and blue shorts. Lastly, an iron pipe, which was 87 cm in length. In criminal investigations, DNA analysis can play a crucial role in identifying suspects and determining guilt or innocence. In this case, the police conducted DNA analysis on several pieces of evidence. The first one, the bloodstain found on the handle and blade of the parang. However, the DNA analysis of the bloodstain found that it was weak and inconclusive, making it unsuitable for comparison. Next, the blood specimen of the accused and deceased was also analyzed. Ethyl alcohol was detected in the deceased blood, but no blood analysis on the blood samples of the accused to detect alcohol was done, as it has been used for DNA comparisons. DNA samples was also taken from the crime scene. Lastly, a polo shirt seized from the accused contained the deceased DNA.
How does DNA works for these cases? Before that, what is DNA? DNA is a code for making proteins. The order of amino acids determine what types of protein is made up. There are four bases for DNA, which is cytosine, thymine, guanine, and adenine. For every basis, it has a pair, which is adenine pairs with thymine, guanine pairs with cytosine. Do you guys know in human there are 3 billion base pairs in the human within each cell? DNA is written in sequence of these bases. Our human DNA is 99.8% similar to each other, but the 0.2% difference is more than enough to distinguish us from one another, except for identical twins. Do you guys know where is the DNA placed? DNA is in the nucleus. It is packaged into chromosome. How does DNA differ among human, which is 0.2%? First one is one of the bases can be different, which is person 1 have 2T and person 2 have 1T. The next one is bases can be added or removed. For the person 1, they are 1T. The person 2, there's no T. The person 3 have a double T. And the third one is regions of DNA can be repeated a difference of times. Forensic DNA analysis, there are two types of sample, which is unknown sample and known sample. Unknown sample is blood, semen, hair, stain, saliva from the crime scene. And then the known sample is blood or buccal swab from suspect or victim or other known person. But we have to remember to beware of the contamination during the collection of evidence. We have to wear gloves and use disposable instruments and package items separately, which is do not mix a known sample with unknown sample. Next one is packaging evidence. Package each item individually and put evidence into paper bag, not the plastic bag, because to avoid the moisture on the evidence.
For the sentencing, the accused Labang Anak Lempang is charged as follows. That Labang Anak Lempang on 16 September 2019 at approximately 7 p.m. at Patah Sembiling Stamping Camp, Baram Imari District Estate in Sarawak with the intention of killing a man known as Om, aged approximately 60 years old. Therefore, Labang Anak Lempang have committed an offence punishable under Section 302 of the Penal Code. The charge was read to the accused person and he pleaded not guilty to the charge. The element of offence of murder are found in the Section 299 and Section 300 of the Penal Code. The prosecution have to prove the following element, namely, which is the Om is dead. Secondly, the Om died as a result of injury sustained by Labang Anak Lempang. Thirdly, the injury of Om were caused of the result of the act of the accused. For the evaluation of evidence at the end of the defense case, it was submitted by learned counsel for the accused that based on his testimony, the accused was clearly drunk at the time of the incident and thus the defense of intoxication under Section 86(2) of the Penal Code is therefore available to him as a complete defense. But there was no evidence whatsoever at the accused's unsoundest mind of except the accused's oral testimony that he had taken alcoholic drink prior to the commission of the offence. It is to be noted that during the prosecution case, there was no evidence that he was heavily intoxicated except from the accused himself. The court found that his conduct before and after the commission of the offence were inconsistent with the accused's contention that he was intoxicated. And for the sentencing, having therefore considered all the evidence adduced in this case as a whole, including that of the defense, the prosecution have proven all the elements of the charge preferred against the accused beyond all reasonable doubt, and that the defense has failed on a balance of probabilities to establish the defense of intoxication under Section 85(2) of the Penal Code. His evidence has not raised any reasonable doubt as to the truth of the prosecution case. Hence, the judge therefore finds the accused guilty as charged and convicts him accordingly. The accused is sentenced to death by hanging to the neck until death.